Morning, everybody. Good morning. Got some curveballs this morning, guys. Got some curveballs. About to get the show started. Everybody in the chat's telling me, Nico. I had to change everything. Like an audible at the line. Play clock is running out. And I'm like, all right, well, you know what? We're going to have to roll with this. Had to change my thumbnail. Had to change my title. Had to change the direction of the show. Thank you very much for being here. Appreciate you guys being a part of the show. This morning, I am 1 minute late. So today, you will get an extra minute from me. We'll go till 9:01 at the minimum. We got a lot to get into today. A lot to get into and a lot changing as we sit here. So thank you for being a part of the show. Greatly appreciate everybody for being a part of the show. Nico Harrison looks like he's about to get fired. Got a lot of Laker topics that I'm going to get into, but it's going to be impossible for me not to start the show with Nico Harrison. So as we get ready to get started, got my rundown here for everybody as well. So we're obviously going to continue to hit on all the Laker topics that we had, NBA topics that we had. I haven't had something for Nico, the more fire Nico chats. I just didn't know that was going to lead to Nico Harrison being shown the door, and it looks like that's what's going to be happening. ESPN's reporting it. So real quick here, quick rundown of the show, and then I'm going to just kind of get right into it, just because a lot of this stuff is going down as we sit here and we get ready for the show. So real quick on the rundown, Lakers rebound in Charlotte. We'll talk a little bit about it. Different role players stepping up every single night. I want to highlight a couple of the different role players that have helped the Lakers get to 8-3. LeBron getting closer to a return, like really getting closer to a return. This could be happening sooner than later. There was an article on Austin Reaves in regards to his finances that I want to get into. Daniel Gafford trade rumors, which I was going to say is impossible to happen because of the trade that the Lakers made for Luka. Maybe that sheds a little bit more light on opportunities there. I'm going to talk Nico Harrison. I'm going to talk about NBA news, and the Lakers got the Oklahoma City Thunder coming tomorrow. So you guys tell me if it's a busy damn day this morning. It's a busy day. So thank you very much for being here. Appreciate you guys being a part of the show, and let's get things started. I'll look at the comments here in a little bit. Cheers to you. Hope you're enjoying your coffee. I want to start off with this Nico stuff. So let's just kind of let's start the show with that. There are reports right now, and by the time I'm doing this, who knows? This could all change, and maybe by the time I'm done talking about this, he's officially fired. But let me read something off ESPN, and there's a lot to talk about here, and there's a lot to unfold because this is associated with the Los Angeles Lakers. If Nico Harrison has already lost his job, or if Nico Harrison is about to lose his job, it's because of one of the worst trades that we've ever seen in NBA history. So let me read this off ESPN. Dallas Mavericks general manager Nico Harrison is expected to be fired Tuesday morning during a 10 a.m. Central. So Central, that's 8 o'clock right now. He's got a meeting with team governor Patrick Dumont. By the way, he's an idiot as well. I mean, if you're approving a trade, I don't care what idea that Nico Harrison had for the Dallas Mavericks, but if you have any association or if you have the final say in any trade or anything like that, and you found yourself approving a deal, then your ass should be fired too. But that's not going to happen. So he's having a meeting with Patrick Dumont. Harrison has been under fire from the Mavericks fans since he stunningly traded Luka Doncic to the Lakers on February 2nd, months removed from the 25-year-old five-time first-team All-NBA selection, leading the NBA franchise to the NBA Finals appearance. I know that, if I'm correct here, Dallas lost yesterday as well. Yep, the Mavs blew a 13-point lead in the fourth quarter to fall 3-8, second to last place in the Western Conference. There was fire Nico chats, the whole thing. Let's start with this here real quick. Guys, I did a video last week. If you guys remember this, I did a video, I think on Friday, where I just kind of was asking the question, how does this man still have his job? Look at the start. I think at that time, Lakers were 7-2 and the Dallas Mavericks were 2-7. There's a reason why the reaction that everybody had when that trade went down on February 2nd, whatever day that was, where people are going to say in the sports world, do you remember what you were doing when Luka got traded to the Lakers. I remember what I was doing. I was live streaming the Lakers and the Knicks game, and I was just about to finish my post-game show. And then some people start putting in the chat, hey, Slee, go look at Sham's tweet. I'm like, all right, I'll go look at it. Sham's tweet out there. The Lakers have traded Anthony Davis and Max Christie for Luka Doncic. I'm like, I'm not even going to report on it. Why am I going to report on it? This happens. It happens to celebrities, athletes. You get hacked. That's the world we're living in. You get hacked. So I'm not going to report that Luka got traded to the Lakers because that's the dumbest thing that I've ever heard. And then maybe 2-3 minutes goes by and it's like, all right, here's another tweet. All right, I'm still not going to report on it. Eventually, I got to the point where it was confirmed. ESPN confirmed, Bleacher Report, everybody jumped on it. Everybody confirmed that the trade that still to this day and will never make any sense of what Nico Harrison's vision was, that the trade that brought arguably one of the best players in the world to the Los Angeles Lakers. Did you see? I'm going to show you guys something here real quick. I'm going to, when I was doing, this is before I knew the Luka thing or the Nico Harrison thing was about to happen. I was reading some articles, doing whatever I'm doing, kind of getting ready for the show. Do you know Luka's stats right now as a Los Angeles Laker? Do you know Luka's stats right now as a Los Angeles Laker? Do you know he's averaging 37, 9, and 9? Do you know the Dallas Mavericks found a way to approve a trade for Luka Doncic for a player 6-7 years older than him that has an injury history, in Anthony Davis and other players that are also on that team with injury history? They found a way to trade away Luka Doncic, who did not want to go anywhere, who's averaging this year for the Lakers 37, 9, and 9. It is literally the dumbest trade that I've ever seen in my life, which is why on Friday I was just kind of sitting here with you guys, kind of baffled, saying to myself, how is he still running things with that organization? I've heard people say, yeah, but Al, he was just the scapegoat and he was just the face. They didn't want to pay him, blah, blah, blah. Okay, then you know what? I would have a sit down with the entire organization and really question, like, who the hell's leading this place? And I don't care if Nico Harrison is just the front face of it. If I was Nico Harrison, I'd step down before making such a dumb trade. So for the Lakers, who we'll get a chance to talk about, Luka last night and the Lakers going into that game against the Oklahoma City Thunder tomorrow, we'll get a chance to do all that. You know why this came up? This came up because on Friday, I was saying to myself, do you ever have moments watching the Lakers? I was at the Lakers-Spurs game, and I was there when, Luka is being the performer and entertainer that he is. And one of the things that I was talking about, I said that, do you ever just have moments where you say, how was Luka a Laker? I was having that moment last week, and as we sit here today, we are finding out that we'll wait till it's official or whatever the case is, but it seems like it's just inevitable now that Nico Harrison's going to be fired. Not surprised. Obviously, the only surprise would have been that he kept his job, but he's never going to get a chance to see whatever his vision was. And frankly, they got so fortunate that they got Cooper Flagg, but Cooper Flagg, it's going to take him years to be what Luka was and what Luka meant to Dallas. And for the Lakers, they got one of the best players in the NBA. And no disrespect to Anthony Davis, but it's such a no-brainer, such a dumb trade that Nico Harrison getting fired today means nothing to me, because that's what should happen in a situation like this when you obviously have a player of that magnitude getting traded. So I'm going to start off the show with that. I hope everybody's having a great morning, but sometimes you got to audible, and I had to audible this morning. Even my thumbnail, I had Marcus Smart and I had Marcus Smart and I had Rui Hachimura there. And I'm like, can you guys scoot over to the left just a little bit? Let me just sneak Nico Harrison here to the right-hand side, if you don't mind. But just crazy stuff. Not surprising. The bigger surprise was how the hell that trade got approved and how the Lakers found a way to get Luka Doncic. So I don't even know what to tell you guys. So as we continue here with the show, I'm sure there'll be a little bit more information as we continue, and we could take it from there. So let's see what we got here. Yep. No, it's official. Yeah, Sham's already put it out there. Yeah, it's all official. Is Patrick Dumont going to share responsibility for the Luka trade and try again and explain his role in Green lighting it and why he grin-lit it. That's Zach Lowe that put that on there. Patrick Dumont's got a lot to be blamed for as well in this. No question about that. I think just the bigger question is how somebody in the role of Nico Harrison can even entertain this type of offer, this type of trade idea, not open it up to the rest of the league. I mean, there's a lot of things that obviously stick to this. Okay, we'll take a look at some of the comments here, and then we'll go from there. By the way, Gary, I'm with you on this. He says, I feel for Mavs fans, they deserve better. I think one of the things that, look, we all kind of have our team that we root for and everything else. And but the Dallas Mavericks, that's like their savior. That's like no, we got Dirk and we got Luka Doncic, and we're going to roll with Luka for 15, 18 years, however long he plays. And for them, I don't even think it was about winning a championship. If the idea and the vision was, well, defense wins championship, that's why we're trading Luka. It's like, no, they don't even want to win a championship. They want to win a championship with Luka. I'm with you on this. I think there is a little bit of, you should feel bad for a Mavs fan that's out there like, wait, how can my franchise be so stupid? I don't have an answer for you, but I get where you're coming from. I 100% understand that thought process there. I have a feeling there aren't too many Laker fans that feel too bad. All right, let's see what we got here. Slee, how do you gaslight folks into believing it was Nico's idea? The person with the money was the genesis for this dumb trade. Yes, Nico should have resigned instead of following orders. It's not just on Nico Harrison, but my brother, if they're meeting him and, a close friend of his as well, because of their connection with Nike and Kobe back in the day, him and Rob Pelinka, and they're having the conversation about this, you don't even get Austin Reaves in the trade. You don't even get, a handful of first rounders in the trade. Come on. Like there comes a point too, where you got to be kidding me to tell me that you're not looking at the trade that went down. And it's not like Nico Harrison is just walking away like, oh, I have nothing to do with this. I'm just doing what the owner asks. I mean, that's absurd. Absolutely absurd. And it's also absurd that you don't open it up to other teams. That to me was, I think, the biggest mistake. And the thing that made absolutely no sense was, well, see if you can get some offers from other squads that might be able to give you something where a Mavs fan or Nico Harrison would find a way to keep his job. We're not even 1 year in, he lost his job. 1 year in, he lost his job. So, I mean, that shows you everything right there. All right, I got people here with the conspiracy theories. Adam Silver. Conspiracies are just a way for Mavs fans and Laker haters to cope, which is fine. They deserve some time to cope, but no need to lie to ourselves. This guy's not just very smart when it comes to rosters. Trevon, I actually disagree here. I thought he did a good job building out rosters so far. PJ Washington, I thought, was a good move. Everybody was like, don't get Kyrie. He got Kyrie. That certainly worked for them. They made some moves there that I think were beneficial to that team. So I'm not sure. Honestly, there are times where I'm like, yeah, I would believe a conspiracy more than I would believe that you actually genuinely thought that was a good move for the Dallas Mavericks organization. Maybe I'm a conspiracy theorist. I'm all in on conspiracies. You know what happened? They had the draft lottery early on, if you guys remember. The draft lottery was coming up, and at that time, I'm still doing the show. And, I was doing the show, obviously, in the mornings. And I came on here on YouTube, and I told you guys, I'm like, listen, I didn't believe in conspiracy theories before, but the fact that the Mavs got the number one pick, I'm all in. Aliens, the Kennedy assassination. You put any conspiracy theory in front of me, I changed my mind after I saw the draft lottery. Nico will always have his coffee paid for here in LA. Listen, Laker fans are everywhere. I mean, he wants to work his way out to San Diego. He wants to work his way out anywhere internationally. First beer is on me. First beer is on me. This is a new one, by the way. I've never started a show where I just kind of laid into it here. This one kind of felt good. All right, let's get another one. Disagree, Brother Slee. You don't go for AD if that's the case. You don't go for AD if that's the case. Nico traded a Ferrari for a pickup truck and 2 spare tires. By the way, listen, Anthony Davis, let me tell you what AD is. If I had to give a car out there, let me tell you what AD is. AD is like a nice Range Rover. Okay. Those cars are beautiful. Those cars are really, really nice. Do you know what people don't say with Range Rovers? Man, that car is super dependable, and I'm going to keep it for 200,000 miles. That's not what Range Rovers do. That's just not what Range Rovers do. Okay. If we want to talk comps here, AD is a beautiful, beautiful Range Rover. They're not reliable. And listen, I don't want to put this all on Anthony Davis. Honestly, he's kind of just thrown into the mix of this. Anybody you're trading for that's not Giannis, that's not Nikola Jokic, that's not Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, that's not Anthony Edwards, that's not Jason Tatum. Can you go past those five? Any trade that's not one of those five players, isn't it lopsided either way? I mean, I'm assuming that it is. All right, let's look at a few more of these. Nico made the worst trade in NBA history. Worst trade in NBA history. No question about it. I hear you on the draft lottery, but why wouldn't the NBA force the Lakers to give up at least reasonable compensation? If they give both first and then sub day off for max, then it's more fair. It's not even the NBA. That's on the Dallas Mavericks. That's on the Mavs. That's genuinely on the Dallas Mavericks. That's it. That's on the Mavs. If you told me that the Mavs walked away with Anthony Davis, Austin Reaves, a first rounder, at least I could sit here and tell you, like, all right, well, got a pretty good return back too. I still don't make the trade. I still don't think anybody from Dallas makes that trade. And we've seen the type of season that Austin Reaves has got off, the type of season that he's got off to, the fast start, how quick how efficient he's been, how good he's been, how much he's going to get paid. I got an article that I'm going to read for everybody here in just a little bit about some more draft compensate, or I'm sorry, some more potential contracts that Austin Reaves can be getting down the road. Reaves is going to get paid. He's a really good player. Still nobody makes that trade. And I think primarily it also has to do with you just can't depend on Anthony Davis. You just can't. From a health perspective, you cannot. You cannot. So I had to start the show with that. I mean, obviously, I think for everybody that's watching and hanging out here, the news this morning, as much as I'd like to talk about the Lakers taking control in the second half against the Charlotte Hornets without LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller, as much as I'd like to sit here, talk about the Lakers 8-3 on the season, I mean, there's obviously things that are just so much bigger. And what went down this morning, I thought was inevitable. I think the only question was going to be, were they going to give him any time to see out his plan and potentially get Kyrie back and this and that? But you can't. I mean, there's when you got your fan base every single day saying fire Nico, yeah, that's, you're only going to be able to do so much. And obviously for the Dallas Mavericks, they had to save face a little bit. They all look stupid. They all look like idiots. New ownership looks dumb. Patrick Dumont looks dumb. They all look like complete fools. And the Lakers benefited from them being fools. That's the best way that I can describe it. And, you start looking at that team now. What do they start doing? Do they start selling off? Do they start saying at the trade deadline, anybody interested in Klay Thompson? Do they start looking at, I don't think they trade Anthony Davis, but do they start kind of taking some of the pieces that they have and start saying, all right, let's get rid of this piece. Let's get rid of that piece. Let me give you guys an example. Let's talk Daniel Gafford here for a quick second. I was going to do it later in the show, but it makes sense to do it now. Brett Siegel of Clutch Points. Again, you guys got to understand something. This was before the news had gone down. I think this might have came out yesterday. Brett Siegel of Clutch Points had put out there that, let me find the exact here. The Los Angeles Lakers are reportedly interested in Daniel Gafford. Obviously, Gafford used to play with Luka Doncic. And I want to find the exact piece of this here. Brett Siegel on Clutch Points. The Mavs are considering possible roster changes, and Gafford could be a player available. Here's what Brett Siegel wrote. One quick small bit of intel revolves around the Dallas Mavericks' slow start, leading to teams wondering if they make roster changes before the trade deadline. Several teams continue to monitor Daniel Gafford, including the Los Angeles Lakers, sources told Clutch Points. Okay, let me just stick on this here for a quick second. The question now of the Dallas Mavericks become, do they start becoming sellers? Do they start taking some of the pieces that they have? Again, maybe not an integral piece like AD, maybe not an integral piece like Kyrie Irving, but do they start taking some pieces here and saying, this ain't it? This ain't going to happen, whatever the vision was. And according to this report, that the Lakers would have interest in Daniel Gafford. That's a player that they would try to target. Super, super athletic player, would work beautifully with Luka Doncic. Here's the problem that you have. Let's say the Lakers put a package together that made a lot of sense for the Dallas Mavericks. Are the Dallas Mavericks really going to make a trade with the Los Angeles Lakers? I mean, I know when Nico Harrison was still there, the answer to that question is no. But I don't think it changes now that Nico Harrison's gone. I mean, do you see us in the next 30 days saying Daniel Gafford is joining Luka Doncic in LA? I think that those two teams probably will not be making a trade for a little while here. It's going to be some time before those two organizations are making another move. You know what I always found funny is when I would hear Jeannie Buss say stuff like, you know, we gave up a lot too. When I heard Pelinka say, you know, it's tough to give up this, that, you know, listen, they have to. There's nothing that they have to obviously respect the other side that made the deal. But you cannot tell me that everyone within that organization has been going to bed for the last almost 8 or 9 months saying to themselves, why would they do that? Why would they trade Luka to us? Of all organizations, us, 37-9-9. That's just wild. That is just wild. All right, let's look at a couple of the comments here. Gafford ain't coming to LA. Couldn't agree more. The Mavs cannot and will not do another significant trade with the Lakers in the foreseeable future. Couldn't agree more. Nico will get part ownership of the Lakers now. Interesting. Give him like a little 2.5%. 2.5%. Lakers should hire. Man, you guys are cold-blooded. What a cold-blooded chat. Unbelievable. Look at everybody. Wild stuff. Wild stuff. All right, let me get a couple more in here, and then we'll kind of get started with a couple of the other topics that I was going to do. I think Locked On Mavs said it best. If Nico and Patrick Dumont orchestrated the worst trade in history and tarnished the legacy of the organization, Nico should not have the right to fix it. It's a very good point. And I think for those out there that want to say, hey, listen, this is not all on Nico Harrison, you know, that's BS that it's all being thrown on him. That's fine. That's okay. That you're not wrong in saying that. But here's the one thing that I will say. The one thing that I will say, and I think it's important to keep in mind. An owner can't fire himself. An owner fires his employees. Nico Harrison is an employee. He's not an owner. So with that in mind, Patrick Dumont's going to fire Nico Harrison. And it's not all on Nico. And Nico is the face of the trade. He really is the face of the trade. Like, how many times have you ever seen a trade go down where it's like there's Anthony Davis, there's Luka Doncic, and it's Nico Harrison in the middle? Typically, your general manager or your president of basketball operations isn't in the actual photo of the trade. Nico Harrison was, because of how absurd the trade was. All right. So, okay, we could come back to this. Certainly, this is something that, you know, we can talk about as we, you know, continue to move through the show. I could definitely come back to it. I had it in my notes here. You know, I did mention it, that the fire Nico chants were there, and that was kind of going to be part of the conversation today. Even just had a banner. Okay, Nico Harrison expected to be fired. But we could come back to this and we can certainly hit on it. But I also want to just kind of continue to move on to the show, and I'll answer some of your questions later. So if you guys got some more Nico Harrison stuff that you want to hit on, feel free to put it in the chat. But I'm going to keep rolling here with the show and talk about a couple other topics that I want to get into. Lakers rebound in Charlotte yesterday. Kind of an ugly game, to be honest with you. First half, Lakers looked like, you know what? Third quarter, they came out, only gave up 15 points. took control of that third quarter, still made it interesting sort of in the fourth quarter. It was down to 6. A 3 was taken with about 17, 18 seconds left. If Charlotte hits it, they cut it down to 3. No LaMelo Ball in that game. All right, Lakers won, move on. They're 8-3. I mean, just to be completely frank with you, that's all I was kind of paying most attention to was, could they just kind of walk away with a win? It would have been nice that they're up 20 in the fourth quarter and Luka doesn't have to play, but that didn't happen, especially coming off that loss to the Atlanta Hawks. But I do think that there was a little bit of grab the win, move on. You're 8-3, and you got the OKC Thunder coming up tomorrow. Here's something that I did notice in yesterday's game that stuck out to me. Every night, it's a different role player. One of the things that I think we could highlight so far this season is the reason why the Lakers are sitting at 8-3. Yes, you got Luka, and Luka's going to put up absurd numbers, 37, 9-9 to start off the year, which is why Nico traded Luka. Nico was like, yeah, we can't have that here. Made it to the NBA Finals and the Western Conference Finals. Get this guy out of here. He's the face of the NBA and one of the best international players in the world. Ship his ass out to LA. Yes, you got the stars like Luka, like Austin Reaves having the season that he's having. But the reason why the Lakers are 8-3, I think it has less to do with Luka. It has less to do with Austin Reaves. Obviously, LeBron hasn't played a game yet, and he's expected to come back soon. It has less to do with, I think, the stars. For me, the reason why the Lakers are sitting at 8-3, it's because every single night there are different role players that are stepping up. Let me give you an example. Rui Hachimura. Rui's had performances. He's had 28-point performances. He's had a couple 21-point performances, 22-point performances. Now, I know Rui's not going to go get rebounds for you, but Rui has found nights this season where, hey, I got to go 9 of 12 from the field tonight, and I'm going to go make it happen. And Lakers probably got to win because Rui Hachimura was good. They've had nights. I know not in the last couple of days, but Jake LaRavia has had some nights. He's had a 27-point performance. He's had a 25-point performance. He's had a 3-game performance where he had 10 steals total. He had a 4, a 3, and a 3. He's got some rebounds. He's got assists. He's kind of found a way to do everything. DeAndre Ayton's had some nights. He's had a 29-10. He's had a 22-15, a 22-10. They've had different players night in and night out a step up outside of the stars. Marcus Smart had 7 steals for the Lakers last night. Part of the reason why the Lakers are sitting 8-3 is because I do feel like they've had a number of different guys step up. Part of the reason why the Lakers are 8-3 is because they don't need to depend on 1 or 2 role players. They could depend on 3, 4, 5 different role players. And they're not all going to, Rui can have a night where he has 9, but that doesn't mean that Ayton and Marcus Smart and a couple other guys won't be successful. LaRavia can have some nights where he's only got 5 or 6, but it doesn't mean that Rui can't step in and give you 22. One of the reasons why I think the Lakers have had some of the success that they've had, I really do believe it's because they got a number of guys that are stepping up. So that's been really, really refreshing to see so far this season. What's been really, really refreshing to see so far this year is that they got some depth. And Gabe Vincent will eventually come back and add some depth. And hopefully some of the other youngsters can continue to have. Nick Smith Jr. had a couple of games where he was good. I thought Bronny's had some performances where I've liked his role. So you've had a number of different guys step up. And I think that's why the Lakers got off to such a good start. They're 8-3 and, top 3, top 4 in the Western Conference. Yes, Austin's been good and Luka's been good, but we kind of expected that. What you're not sure about is what are your role players going to do? What are your offseason acquisitions going to deliver? And I think for the Lakers, they've been really, really good. So it's been fun to kind of watch what those players have been able to do. And I think those role players have really stepped up. By the way, is Ayton a role player? I got this in my notes. Do I put Ayton as a role player, or is Ayton like you can't put him as a role player? Is Ayton and Rui in the same category? I don't think they are they? I think Ayton's kind of got to be in the no. He has to give you 16 and 9 a night, 17 and 9 a night, something like that. I don't think Ayton's a role player. Am I crazy on this one? I can't treat Ayton the same way I think Marcus Smart or Jake LaRavia or Rui Hachimura. I think Ayton's got to be kind of in his own category. Ayton is better than Rui. Yeah, I don't think I could treat Ayton as a role player. And I say that because the Lakers can't have him as a role player. I mean, it doesn't matter what I think. I'm just saying that they need him not to be a role player. They need him to be their starting center that's contributing every single night. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's read. Let me come back to this one. I got to be honest with you. Even if I'm trying to get into some of this other stuff, everything is just going to revolve around Nico Harrison. All right. Gabe is cooked. He's going to take the year off again. Coming back soon, I think. I want Gabe Vincent in there. I want Lakers to have as many options as possible. It doesn't mean he's going to perform well for them. Ayton is solid. Ayton averaging 19 and 8 last 4 games. They need him. Yeah, I think this is more of a conversation that Ayton can't be a role player. He can't be a role player. They need a lot more from Ayton for him to be a role player. Ayton is a starter looking for 17 and 9 per game. Here's the thing. Role players can have nights off. I don't think Ayton can really have any nights off. So that's why I think he's not technically a role player. Rui is going to have a night where he has 9, and you just expect it. Ayton can't have those nights. Too simplistic to just look at stats. If teams lock up Ayton, other guys get points and boards. Yeah, but I think guys that you think are real contributors to your team, teams can focus on them, but they have to be there more nights than not. Get another one in here. Ayton has to be 3rd or 4th best option. He just has too critical of a role. Too critical of a role for the Lakers. Let's make a statue of Nico Harrison in front of Staples. Crypto guys. All right. Let's see if we got another here. Imagine if they get some contributions from Connect, Adou Thiero. By the way, some good news on Adou Thiero. And I don't know why. I got a couple things, by the way. I want to get into LeBron. I want to get into Austin Reaves, and then we'll keep the conversation going on this Nico Harrison stuff. Some quick news on Adou Thiero. JJ Redick says that Adou Thiero, this is coming from La Murray on Twitter. Adou Thiero is progressing and hopes that he may make his NBA debut at some point in this road trip. So Lakers got 3 games left on the road trip. So just something to keep in mind. They go OKC tomorrow, New Orleans on Friday, and then they got the Milwaukee Bucks coming up on Saturday. La Murray, by the way, part of The Athletic. So that is some encouraging news there on Adou Thiero. Can I ask everybody a question? And I don't even know if I have an answer to this. Why am I really excited to see Adou Thiero get in that lineup for the Lakers? Why am I really excited about that? I don't even know if I have an answer for you. Maybe because he's just super young and athletic, and I could see this guy running up and down the floor and catching these ridiculous lobs from guys like Luka Doncic or guys like Austin Reaves, or when it comes LeBron. But Adou Thiero could be coming back here very soon. He's raw. Nobody's saying that this guy is going to come in and be this huge contributor. But why do I have this just excitement to want to see this guy on the floor? And I feel like there's going to be some just badass highlights with Adou Thiero once he does come back. And hopefully it's sooner than later. But it might be on this road trip, one of these next 3 games. Lakers play 3 games in 4 nights. So something to keep in mind in regards to that. But yeah, I'm not sure why I'm just like, when's he coming back? Just super, super athletic, as people are saying here. Also, this team seems motivated. Our guard defense concerns as we get deeper into the season, though. Yeah, by the way, whatever I thought of the Lakers, these last 2 games have not been impressive at all. So, I know that's kind of comes with the competition. Unfortunately for the Lakers, I think their competition, they come down to their competition rather than come up. Slee, talk about Lakers 3-point shooting. It's down. John, go look at Austin Reaves and Luka the last couple of games. Their 3-point shooting is shit. And they take too many threes. Way too much volume 3-point shooting from both of those players, especially their ability to get to the free throw line, to attack the basket, get some easy buckets. I don't like how many threes they take, if I'm being completely honest with everybody. And maybe that's just kind of part of the NBA. I watched the highlight video of Thiero. He has presence and he hustles. It's going to be fun to see him back in the lineup. It's going to be fun to see him back in the lineup. If you're just joining the show right now, the big news this morning is Nico Harrison fired. And impossible not to obviously tie the Lakers into the mix of this entire thing, and impossible not to look at just what a train wreck of a trade that was. And, there's a reason why right when that trade happened, there was the shock of it. And then there was the, that thing better work for you in Dallas, because if it doesn't, you're going to get crucified. And let me tell you how long it took. We are 3 weeks into the NBA season. 3 weeks ago today, the Lakers tipped off against the Golden State Warriors at Crypto. 3 weeks ago today. It was opening night 3 weeks ago. Remember, OKC and Houston went to double overtime. Lakers were the next game. I think all the gambling stuff came out maybe the following day, or maybe it was on Thursday that the gambling stuff came out. Wemby had his, great performance. It took Nico Harrison 3 weeks from the start of the 2025-2026 season to get canned. 3 weeks. That's how long it took. Wild, not surprising, and the whole organization are fools. Truly fools. I pump faked on that sneeze. You guys see that? You guys kind of went for it. You guys saw it, right? I got you off your feet, kind of laid my shoulder into you. I'm at the free throw line. 2 free throws. Two easy free throws right there. All right, LeBron's getting closer, guys. LeBron is getting closer. By the way, I saw this one comment here. Then they thought by getting the number 1 pick, it was going to equal out. I mean, Cooper Flag is going to take time, right? That's not something that you can figure out right away. But that's going to take time. So I think, it's kind of funny. I think for that franchise, because they were all in and they already had traded Luka, I think they should have considered trading the number 1 pick and seeing how much talent they could get back. You're already all in to try to win a championship, and all the pressure is already on. Cooper Flag is a rebuild. That's not hey, we just walk in and all of a sudden we're good. That's going to take time, but I'm not telling you to trade Cooper Flag. But what I'm saying is when they got the number 1 pick, considering it and what kind of talent they could have got in return, because all your chips are at the center of the table, and there's a ton of pressure for you to try to win right now. All right, now they start kind of a completely different chapter for that franchise, that organization. All right, let's get into LeBron here real quick. So we're getting closer. Definitely getting closer. Here's the latest on LeBron. Something refreshing, by the way, happened that I want to compliment some Laker fans on in regards to LeBron. I'll do that in just a second. LeBron James on track to practice with the Lakers G League team. So JJ Redick said, this was yesterday before the Lakers took on the Hornets, that he'll be in workouts that will happen later in the week because South Bay team is off yesterday. So later in the week, he'll be part of some workouts. James has yet to practice with the Lakers this season after developing sciatica near the start of training camp. The team has refused to put a timetable on James' recovery. The Lakers, let's see what else we got here. Obviously, there's been a lot of chatter and conversation about him coming back in mid-November. He's not going to play on this road trip. The Lakers' next home game is on November 18th, a week from today. So I guess the question just comes down to, will LeBron play November 18th against Utah? Or does he not play and they have 5 days off and they don't play again until November 23rd at Utah? But it feels like the trajectory is going to be some point over the next, call it 10 days, there could be a good chance that LeBron is coming back. But the conversation is starting. He's obviously going to do some work with the South Bay Lakers, with the G League team, and we could be getting LeBron back sooner or later. Here's a question I have for everybody as LeBron gets closer. I think there's a few, I guess, angles I would take here. Clearly, the Lakers 8-3 without LeBron James have done a phenomenal job. To be 8-3 without LeBron, that doesn't make any sense. they've had role players step up, give them a lot of credit. The stars have been the stars. And for the Lakers to have real success this season, they need a healthy LeBron. They don't need to rush LeBron back. And hopefully the more the Lakers have won and had some success, LeBron also feels like, okay, hey, great. I don't have to rush back here. I could take my time. I could do this the right way. In years past, it always seemed like LeBron had to be on the floor. Clearly for the Lakers right now, when you got Luka and Austin Reaves and these role players, he doesn't have to rush back. They're still winning games. The real question for me is, what are the changes when LeBron returns? What are the changes that happens to the Lakers when he does come back? Let me throw some examples your way here. What happens to the starting lineup? Who gets less playing time? What happens to Austin Reaves and kind of his contributions? Does he get a little bit more phased out? What happens, I guess you could say, close games or to close out games, who is that closing five? Is it Marcus Smart? Is it Rui Hachimura? Lakers are going to have options. So I think it's going to be great to get LeBron back. I think those that think that LeBron's going to ruin the chemistry or they're going to screw up the team, I don't think you have substance behind what you're saying. That's me personally. I think if the Lakers want to achieve the goals they're hoping for, LeBron's got to be there and he's got to be healthy, period. I don't think there's anything after that, period. He's got to be there. But I think there are going to be some changes when he comes back, and that part's going to be interesting to me. Does Marcus Smart stay in the starting lineup? Does Rui stay in the starting lineup? You're closing out a game. What's it look like? Does Austin Reaves' numbers come down pretty significantly because he's just got the ball less in his hands? Does it affect nothing? Do Reaves and Luka kind of continue to drive the offense and LeBron just does whatever he needs to do and LeBron will find ways to contribute? Those are all questions that will eventually be answered. And this is a great problem to have if you're the Lakers. I've heard people say, I don't need to see Gabe Vincent back. Maxi Kleber, I don't care. Guys, I want everybody back. You want options. And LeBron obviously is not one of those players, but JJ Redick needs to be able to look down the bench and say to himself, I can play 5 different styles because all these different players that I have that offer something different. Yesterday doing the postgame show in Vando, somebody was saying that you can't have Vando in the games anymore. All right, be selective when you have Vando. There's going to be nights Vando plays 8 minutes. There's going to be nights he plays 15 minutes. Probably not going to play any more than that. You need all these guys. I think I think obviously for JJ Redick, he needs the option of all of these players. He needs that option. All right, let's see a couple of the comments here. By the way, just a quick quote. Luka was asked yesterday about LeBron when he comes back. He said, we can't wait. All of us can't wait. It's Bron. So it's always good to have him back, hopefully soon. So Luka, just a little bit of a quick reaction to potentially getting LeBron back sooner than later. All right, let's look here. Alex, I don't know if it's the best comp, but I know what you're trying to say. It's tough to compare baseball and basketball, but I know the root of what you're trying to say. The more depth you have, the better. So I get the angle. It's really tough to compare the two sports because the two sports are wildly different. I know sometimes people want to compare Lakers and the Dodgers because of ownership, but you just can't. I mean, there are some things you can compare, but you can't compare because they can't go out there. The new ownership of the Lakers can't follow the similar blueprint of how they put a roster together in baseball. Now they can do it from a front office perspective and go get the best of the best in coaching and scouts and all that other stuff. There are some similarities, but not necessarily on a roster. All right. Hey, Slee, do you think the Lakers have pieces to play a high-tempo game versus the Thunder at times or control tempo? Let me save this. I'll talk about the Thunder in a second here. By the way, I got someone tomorrow who will be helping us cover the Lakers and the Thunder, so I'm looking forward to that. I got confirmation on it a little bit earlier today. I got a beat writer for the Oklahoma City Thunder that's going to join the show coming up tomorrow. So You want Lakers and a Thunder preview? Tune in tomorrow, and we'll make it happen. All right, let's look at more here. OKC annoying. I don't think they're annoying. I think they're just good. I think there's a little hate going towards them, obviously for reasons because they're having a lot of success. Okay, let me look at a couple. I like this too. It's Braun. Yeah, that's the piece of Luka's quote that stood out to me when he's talking about LeBron. Hey, what do you think of him coming back? It's Braun. You know what I said was something that I said was refreshing to hear. Let me read one more here real quick. LeBron significantly raises the floor and the ceiling. It's a fantasy to say we are better without Braun. Let me tell you something that was refreshing to hear. So I told you guys over the weekend, I put out a LeBron video, and it was basically a clip that I grabbed from Friday's show. A lot of times I'll take individual clips from the live show that I do, and I'll put a clip out separately, 8 minutes long, 10 minutes long, that just kind of isolates one subject. Last week on Friday, I basically said, all right, give me all the LeBron haters. Let's have a conversation. What are you bitching and complaining about LeBron? And I went into my little rant, read off some of, the complaints that people had about LeBron. I put that video up. I isolated it. Let me tell you what was refreshing from my perspective. I put out that video, and that video, I was reading some of the comments to that video. By the way, over 200 comments from that video. You know why that's important to make mention of is because LeBron still sells, period. LeBron is still, box office. LeBron is still front page news. He still is. Whether you like it or not, he still is. But what was refreshing about reading some of those comments, damn, were there a lot of people that were basically like, if you hate on LeBron for being a Laker, and if you hate on LeBron and think that this guy is not going to help the team win, and if you hate on LeBron thinking he's going to hurt the chemistry, there were a lot of people on there. It's like, it's a stupid argument. That was refreshing to me. Because I think what happens sometimes is you see comments and a negative comment might outshine other people's comments, or it might just be louder than other people's comments. But when I looked at the totality of these comments, like, hey, do a lot of people think LeBron's going to hurt the Lakers? Do a lot of people think that he is going to hurt the chemistry, that he's going to do this, do that? By the time I got reading to a handful of those comments, I'm like, nope. Most people on here were Laker fans that were saying it's a dumb argument to think LeBron's not going to help the Lakers, or it's a dumb argument to think that he's going to hurt their chemistry. And part of it was just watching what he did last season once Luka got here. That to me was refreshing. That was refreshing to see. That was refreshing to hear. So anyways, that doesn't mean that people can't disagree. That doesn't mean that people can't still think that, they have their own mindset of what LeBron will bring to the table when he comes back. I just vehemently disagree, if I pronounce that right. All right. I want to get into an Austin Reaves topic, and I want to look at some more of your comments. Before I do, shout out to Brad Wallace and the Wallace firm. Injury attorneys that can help anybody in the state of California. Serious injury, wrongful death case. You just need to kind of follow these easy steps. If you or a family member or a friend is in a situation where they need some help, they need some guidance. WallaceWins.com/Sliwa. WallaceWins.com/Sliwa. If you go to the website, you get a free consultation. You just fill out this form and have somebody, Brad Wallace will be in the mix as well, that can guide you in the process, that can give you some suggestions, that can tell you, hey, this is the route that you should be taking. Hey, if we can't help you here, let us put you in touch with somebody that can help you. That's what he's done, and he's done it for listeners here. So I appreciate people that have actually used Brad Wallace and the Wallace firm. WallaceWins.com/Sliwa. WallaceWins.com/Sliwa is the website. Thank you to his partnership here with the channel, and shout out to all the to everybody here that has been, obviously nice enough to support our partners as well. Brad Wallace and the Wallace firm, WallaceWins.com/Sliwa. All right, let's keep rolling here with some of the topics we got. I got an Austin Reaves thing I just want to point out here real quick. There was an article yesterday and then another article today that came out in regards to Austin Reaves. First off, Dave McMenamin, a friend of the show, put out an article. Let me find it here real quick. Inside an unbelievable $241 million week for Austin Reaves and the Lakers. And he goes into that stretch that Austin Reaves was having before, he eventually had that injury. And I think Luka was gone for those games as well. And the reason why he says $241 million week, part of that is because that's the most that he can make he can make with the Lakers. But there was another thing that I saw yesterday that kind of caught my eye that I want to point out here real quick. Austin Reaves and the Lakers. Okay. I'm going to read one piece here that stood out to me. Austin Reaves is eligible to sign up for 4 years, $178.5 million with teams who have cap space. ESPN is currently projecting 4 teams to have that type of cap space. The Brooklyn Nets, the Chicago Bulls, the Utah Jazz, and the Washington Wizards to have at least $40 million in room this summer. Okay. Reaves is making $14 million this season, ranks 26th among all shooting guards and 127th overall from, I think, a salary perspective. The thing that stood out to me when it showed what teams have the cap space to go sign Austin Reaves, that one actually gets me excited about Reaves. Because to me, I look at Austin Reaves as a winner. I look at Austin Reaves as a player that wants to win and wants to compete. When I see the Brooklyn Nets, the Utah Jazz, and the Washington Wizards that have cap space to go make $40 million plus this summer, does Austin Reaves take you as a guy that wants to go play for any one of those teams and have no success and be stuck on a franchise that either has no idea what they're doing, a front office that has made bad move after bad move? Does that sound like an Austin Reaves that's in his DNA or a characteristic that he says, I'll just take the money and I don't care if I win or not? That doesn't sound like Austin Reaves to me. Now, the only team that's interesting on here is the Chicago Bulls, who are playing better, made a good trade for Josh Giddey, and I think are 6-3 on the season, but I think Giddey's missing some games here with an ankle injury. I get encouraged when I see this because it's not just how many teams have cap space, but it's also what team you want to play for. The Nets, the Jazz, and the Wizards are some of the worst teams in the NBA that have not been relevant in a while. So that gives me a little bit of encouragement here. The hope is that Austin Reaves, yes, he is going to get paid, deserves to make as much money as he possibly can. But I think also to kind of hit on that, doesn't Austin Reaves want to play for a good franchise, a good team? Doesn't he want to play for a team that he can compete with and have long playoff runs? I think the Lakers can give him that. Now the question is just going to be at what dollar amount. So I just saw that yesterday, and I thought to myself, when I saw the list of teams that were out there, that encouraged me a little bit, if I'm being completely honest with everybody. All right, let's look at a couple of the comments here. Well, the fire Nico chants have become he is fired. That part's true. What a freaking mess in Dallas. What a mess in Dallas. Lakers are the team to play for. Yeah, I think something is happening. Obviously part of that has to do with the trade for Luka Doncic, and now you obviously know the direction that the Lakers are going in. But at the end of the day, Austin Reaves just does not take me as a player that doesn't want to win. He's a winner. Like I think he's got that in his DNA. He's a winner. So because of that, I find Austin Reaves making decisions that also has a lot to do with where can I get paid but also succeed. All right, let's look at a couple of the comments here. Got a couple NBA things I want to get into as well, and then we're going to call it a day. I was a minute late today. So in order for you to get your money's worth, I got to stay till at least 9:01. By the way, I'm always an hour, 5 hour, and 10 minutes. Do you think LeBron can accept having a season averaging less than 20 points per game? Listen, if LeBron is all about what his statement was through Rich Paul in the offseason, isn't it all about winning? Isn't it still getting a chance to compete for an NBA championship at this stage of his career? And if it's all about that, then does it matter how many points LeBron averages? Because I think probably for one of the first time in LeBron's career, he's sitting on the sidelines and he's like, hey, I'm watching a team that's not 3-8. I'm watching a team that's not just completely folding. I'm watching a team that actually can play some decent basketball without me. Okay, when I come back, how do I just add to that? I don't have to be the savior. The savior is already here. It's Luka. There's other really, really good players on this team. To me, I think that's more important. That LeBron gets to come back to a team that is not cratering, that's completely waiting for him to come back in order to be the team that, to get back to 500, or they've already dug themselves a hole. That's not the Lakers without LeBron. That's a very, very positive thing to think about. So can he accept averaging 20? First off, I think LeBron will average 20 a game just by waking up and coming to work. That would be his career, the lowest in his career. Granted, he's in his 23rd season in the NBA. But how refreshing for LeBron to be like, okay, this doesn't have to all be on my shoulders. All right, let me get a couple more in here. See some more here. Not sure you're going to get those results from Jays unless he's willing to be the third option. It's not going to go well. I'd rather have Rui as a third option. Tell me what you saw from LeBron last season that would tell you that he's not going to accept the role as Luka as the main guy. He did it last season. We watched him do it last season. Dallas fans are talking about getting rid of AD. Listen, if you're going to start the process of rebuilding and you just got rid of Nico Harrison, I'm open to any trade out there. And you're going to start rebuilding around Cooper Flagg, yeah, I'm open to any trade out there. Why not see what you can get for Anthony Davis? Your team's 3-8. I mean, if you're AD, do you want to be in Dallas right now? What if you can get just some unbelievable package for Anthony Davis for a team that thinks they're an AD away from competing for an NBA championship? I mean, I'm going to just talk off the top of my head here. I'm going to think of some Eastern Conference teams out there. Think of teams like, I don't have a good example off the top of my head, but the Golden State Warriors. I don't know. Is there a trade package? Again, I'm talking out of my ass here, but if you're going to restart the rebuilding process here, and you just fired your GM, and his vision is it ain't coming true. Kyrie might not even be coming back this season. Why not look at what can you get for Anthony Davis? That's my personal opinion there. Hilarious that Michael Finley is getting a promotion out of the deal. You can argue that it was him that got the ball rolling on this to begin with. I mean, you took a beer from a grown-ass man that I think had just won the Western Conference Finals and is in like the celebration mode. What? Yeah, I don't get it. All right, let's get another one in here. Slee thinks LeBron doesn't care about stats. Brother, LeBron has been a triple-double, almost a walking triple-double for 22 straight years. Don't be mad at him for being good enough to average 28, 8, and 8 for basically 22 years. Is he worried about the stats, or does he just get the stats? This I don't disagree with, but I really haven't heard much from LeBron in general. Whether LeBron's saying something about the team or not, it's impossible for him not to be sitting there on the sidelines, very, very much impressed with what the team has been able to do without him. All right, let's get a couple more in here, and then I'm going to get into a couple NBA stories here. There's also zero evidence that Rui is ready to be a third option on a playoff contender. Yeah, Rui is not your third option. Rui is your fifth option. He really is. He's your fifth option. Luka, LeBron, Reaves, Ayton, Rui. That's how I would do it. All right, let's get a couple more in here. Anybody? AD to the Pistons. Oh, I like that. I like that. I'm telling you, if I'm Dallas, I'm listening to every offer for Anthony Davis. And if I'm a team out there that feels like, hey, if we got Anthony Davis healthy and we can make just have him healthy for the playoffs, that could be a game changer. I would be looking in the Eastern Conference too, with just how wide open the East is as well. All right, let's get to a couple NBA stories here as we keep things rolling here. And I appreciate you guys being a part of the show. A couple things here. Please do me a favor. Please subscribe to the channel. Closing in. What are we closing in on? Maybe getting closer to 34,000 subscribers. Help us get to 34,000 subscribers. I greatly appreciate that. And I appreciate everybody's, however you guys are consuming the show. You're here for the post-game show. You're here for the morning show, whatever it is. I greatly appreciate it. And I genuinely enjoy doing this show with everybody. Something else to consider. Tomorrow, I'm going to do a member show starting at 7:30 in the morning. We're going to do about a 20-minute show, and I'm going to let the members help build out the show. We did that last week, and we're going to do it again this week. So I just put a link here. It's $3 a month to join. It's a great way to support the channel. I'd appreciate any love, so thank you for considering it. $3 for the show. Okay, let's or for the membership. Tomorrow, 7:30 for members. We're going to do it again like we did last week. All right, I got a couple of things around the NBA that I got to get into. I didn't even get to enjoy my coffee the way I typically enjoy my coffee. There was just too much going on today. I had everybody telling me Nico Harrison. I had everybody tell me about what was going on with Nico. All right, we get ready for the outro. Got a little NBA news coming up. A little music going in the background. I'm a music guy. I want music more a part of the show. All right, a couple things going on in the NBA that I want to point out. Tonight, here's what I need everybody to do tonight. Okay, no excuses out there. No excuses from anybody. Tonight, this is what I need everyone to do. I need you tonight around, let me find the time. I want to make sure I got the time right. Tonight, I need everybody around 5 o'clock tonight on the West Coast. I need you to grab a sheet of paper and a pen. And I need you to get in front of your TV at 5 o'clock tonight because the Warriors are playing the Thunder. I need you to start taking some notes like a scout. I want you to start scouting for tomorrow's Lakers-Thunder game. Warriors and the Thunder tonight. Thunder will have a second of a back-to-back tomorrow. I need people to do me a favor. Thunder 10-1, by the way. Every power ranking that comes out, I need every one of these networks to stop saying tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, all that other stuff. I need it to say Thunder either in tier 1 by themselves or just call tier 1 the Oklahoma City Thunder. For people who are annoyed by the Oklahoma City Thunder, for people who, say that the Thunder are this, they're that, whatever, I'm not going to be one of them. That's the franchise everybody's chasing. That's by far the favorites to go back-to-back this year. They're 10-1 to start the season. They don't even have Jalen Williams yet. Enough of this tier 1, tier 2 stuff. The Oklahoma City Thunder are in a tier by themselves and don't put anyone near them. Start tier 2 after and leave Oklahoma City Thunder by themselves. Stop putting other teams in the tier 1. There is no other tier 1. It's the Thunder. I respect what they've done. I respect what they're building. I respect their front office. I respect Shea, and that's the team to beat. So tonight, get a sheet of paper out. Start taking some notes so we're all ready for the game tomorrow. So Lakers and the Thunder tomorrow, 6:30. Lakers 8-3. Thunder probably by that point, they're 10-1 now. They'll probably be 11-1 after they take out the Warriors. And I think Steph Curry plays tonight. So something to keep in mind. Some other games that may be of interest for tonight. Let's see if there's any other games that are interesting. Not really. Nuggets and the Kings. Pacers and the Jazz. I'd rather watch paint dry. Celtics and the Sixers. Okay, a little bit of interest there. Grizzlies and the Knicks. Raptors and the Nets. So those are the other games that are going on around the NBA. I had one thing from an NBA perspective that I wanted to get into as well. Obviously, we do know, from the Nico Harrison perspective, what the fallout is going to be from that perspective. Can I just point out one other thing here real quick? You know who's really fun to watch in the NBA? And I know a lot of us don't really get an opportunity to watch him. Now, granted, I don't think last night is the best example. Cade Cunningham dropped 46 last night. Cade Cunningham is a baller for the Detroit Pistons. Here's the one thing that I would say, and if I was sitting next to Michael Thompson, who I used to do the pregame show with, if I was sitting next to Michael, I already know what he's going to say. If I say, hey, Michael, Cade Cunningham had 46, his first question would be, how many shots? Cade Cunningham took 45 shots for 46 points. Not exactly the best shooting night. Not exactly the efficiency that you're looking for. What do you have in that? If you took that many shots, what was his shooting percentage? My God, that's a lot of shots taken. Cade Cunningham, 14 of 45. Yeah, that's not a good night. That's not a good night shooting. That's not exactly a good night shooting. All right, let's take a look at a couple more comments, and then we're going to call it a day. Let's see what we got here. I want 50 shots from Luka against OKC. Tomorrow, a full preview. Full preview of the game. Full preview. I'm going to have somebody who covers the Oklahoma City Thunder on, a beat writer that's there for every one of the Thunder games. So make sure you tune in tomorrow at 8 a.m. and we'll get you a full report. By the way, Sammy Long will be doing a preview video tonight, getting you ready for the Lakers and the Thunder as well. I think I'm invited to that. I'm not 100% sure. I know I was supposed to come on with him for one of the pre's. It might be tonight. I'll let him decide on that one. Yeah, OKC pretty much. Let's see what we got here. We have Luka, can beat everyone. We are the effing Lakers, the best franchise in history. That's all great and dandy, but that doesn't mean that being the greatest franchise in history helps you against the 10-1 Thunder. Can't wait for tomorrow. It's going to be great to watch. Great to watch. Nico, the scapegoat. Ownership did not want to pay Luka. He was instructed to put up a smokescreen saying he's out of shape, he did it, and now he's fired. Well, you can tell me whatever you want, but I don't think anyone's that stupid to trade Luka Doncic, and apparently the Mavs front office is that stupid to trade Luka Doncic. OKC are cheating. Investigate them. Don't hate on them. They're just they're playing chess while everybody else is playing checkers. Sam Presti, I mean, listen, that's as good as it gets in the league. So I give them a lot of credit. Okay, final couple of comments, and then we're out of here. Thunder have trouble guard. Hey, listen, Lakers last year were phenomenal against Thunder. They could have won 2 in a row at OKC. Remember, they went back-to-back, and then Luka got his second technical foul. He was thrown out of the game. The problem is Lakers don't have LeBron, but they don't have Jalen Williams. So I think there's kind of a comp there from that perspective. All right, I think we're good to go. Got everything in today. It's going to be fun tomorrow, guys. It's going to be really, really fun tomorrow. I'll see Lakers and the Thunder. 8-3 Los Angeles Lakers. My people, thank you very much for coming on. Thank you to those that kind of jumped on here because of the Nico Harrison stuff. We hit on everything today. Thank you for being a part of the show. Please subscribe to the channel if you've yet to subscribe. I will see everybody tomorrow morning starting at 8 a.m. And watch out for Sammy's preview video coming up tonight. Thank you, everybody. Hope you guys have a great rest of your Tuesday.